One of the fun things about Dragon Ball is all of the amazing characters that we've gotten over the years. However, Dragon Ball, just like it introduces a lot of great characters, it also throws a lot of them to the wayside. And, well, let's just say that Yamcha is one of these victims. Yes, we've gotten a good amount of Yamcha over the years, but for example, in Dragon Ball DAIMA, yeah, we haven't gotten anything from Yamcha. We haven't gotten any dialogue from Yamcha. He has no importance to the story. And look, I get it. You know, Yamcha is not really relevant anymore, right? He's just one of their friends, and he's not strong enough to participate in these stories. He's basically retired from the quote-unquote Z fighter role. But even though Yamcha hasn't gotten any time at all to shine in this latest incarnation of Dragon Ball, that doesn't mean that Toriyama and the people working on Daima totally forgot about him. In fact, we got an entire episode that was basically a love letter to Yamcha. And that is what I want to break down today. Episode 9 of Dragon Ball DAIMA is called Tozoku. Tozoku is a word that means thief or bandit in Japanese. It also happens to be the way Yamcha is described when he first makes his appearance in Dragon Ball. When you look up what Yamcha was at the beginning of Dragon Ball, you will see that he's called a Tozoku most of the time. There might be an exception here or there, but generally, this is the word that's used.
ヤムチャの盗賊時代の異名は砂漠の狼。
So, one of the things that we get in this episode is a lot of thieves. We get two groups of thieves. So, first of all, let's talk about the Goku side of things. What happens in this episode is that Goku, Pansy, Nahare / Shin, and Glorio, well, they have to rest for the night, right? So they stop at a nice hotel and they bathe and eat. And what happens is some thieves show up and steal the Dragon Ball that they've managed to acquire from Tamagami number 3. So right here we have a Yamcha reference. Why? Well, because something very similar happens all the way back in the Pilaf saga when Yamcha first enters the story. So there's a point in the Pilaf saga where Goku, Ulan, and Bulma have to spend the night in Ulan's RV. So they go to sleep unwillingly, actually, because, well, Ulan drugs them, and then Yamcha breaks into the RV and he tries to steal the Dragon Balls, but instead he ends up just groping Bulma. And then he freaks out because, well, as you probably remember, he can't handle being around girls. And the reason why he wants to steal the Dragon Balls is so that he can wish for the ability to be around women. Well, in episode 9 of Dragon Ball DAIMA, the thieves are far more successful than Yamcha was, but Goku and the gang do manage to get the Dragon Ball back. But right here, we already have a strong parallel. It's nighttime, thieves try to steal the Dragon Ball, and they fail. But that's not it. Then we have another scene with Goku falling asleep because he says he's going to stand guard. Well, if we go back to the whole Yamcha trying to steal the Dragon Ball part, what happens in that episode? Goku falls asleep because Ulan drugs him. Coincidence? I don't think so. I think this is a reference because Goku didn't have to fall asleep. Yeah, it was a nice joke, but it wasn't essential to the story. And then we have the other group of thieves. These are the ones that steal the airship that Vegeta, Bulma, Piccolo, and Hybis were using. Well, they steal it because Vegeta beat them up the night before in a clear parallel of what Goku did after they arrived, with Glorio and Nahare in the Demon Realm. So this was a callback to that. But that doesn't really matter. What's important here is that these thieves steal their airship, but then they come back and Vegeta beats the crap out of them. Okay, he completely dominates them. And well, I'm pretty sure this is also a Yamcha reference. Why? Well, I'll let you think about this one. Vegeta beats up thieves. Vegeta dominates thieves. Well, who ends up with Bulma after she breaks up with Yamcha? Vegeta. So Vegeta, in that sense, completely dominates the thief of the Z Warriors, Yamcha.
つうか雑魚ががむしゃらにやむちゃして何回目貴様の死に様は見飽きちゃってるし無様に負けつきマギな話だぜガチュないぜ
Look, I'm telling you, like, this is not a coincidence. I cannot believe that all these little things sprinkled throughout this episode were just pure accident. But that's not where this love letter to Yamcha ends, because we get one more big nod to Yamcha.
サイバイマンが現れたサイバイマンが現れた
What happens towards the end of this episode of Dragon Ball DAIMA? We get the big reveal of Majin Ku. So Arinsu and Maba, they create this new creature, this new Majin called Majin Ku. And they create it using the flesh and essence of Majin Buu. And, drumroll please, a Saibaman. Yes, a Saibaman seed specifically. And, well, Saibamen are very, very, very closely linked to Yamcha, right? It's a Saibaman that killed Yamcha and turned him into one of Dragon Ball's biggest memes. A meme that actually Dragon Ball Super totally acknowledged and embraced in that baseball episode. So, so I find it really, really hard to believe that this episode that features the comeback of a Saibaman after what, like almost 30 years since the last time that we've gotten a Saibaman in mainline Dragon Ball continuity, I find it really hard to believe that this episode of Daima is just purely coincidence that they used a Saibaman. No. Tozoku, thieves, stealing Dragon Balls at night, Goku falling asleep, Vegeta beating the crap out of thieves, and the Saibaman. This episode is a giant love letter to Yamcha.